The NASCAR Cup Series returning with the Real Heroes 400 at Darlington Raceway this Sunday, and the driver of the famed 43 car for Richard Petty Motorsports, Bubba Wallace, here on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, sir?
I'm all good, safe and healthy. Hope you are as well.
Yeah, we are. I mean, that is the ultimate, right, Bubba? I mean, that is the absolute ultimate.
Absolutely.
And so, I guess the question for you is, you are healthy, right, going into this race on Sunday?
Yeah, as healthy as I can be right now. You know, obviously, we're all kind of on eggshells and like the whole screening process and what's going to go down and what takes place, and it's just kind of nerve-wracking just because, you know, if one driver has it, and it could all kind of be pulled out from underneath that driver. So we're all just trying to take extra measures to be ready mentally, physically, emotionally, because it's been a long time off for us. You know, usually we're kind of bored in the off season, which we had just gotten off of, you know, in January, and then it seems like we went back racing for like 2 weeks and then been sitting off for another off season. So we are we're excited. We're ready to get back rolling and counting down the days and hours.
Well, if you don't mind, I'd like to get a little detailed with you about the health and safety and the public health issues that you're right in the middle of right now, because it's not only just fascinating to know what you're going through and how you're preparing, because eventually you're going to have to compete, but a lot of sports might be looking in the direction of NASCAR. Let's see how this works. So how is it working?
Yeah, I think
have you been tested?
Really setting the tone.
Sure.
For how this goes, and so there's going to be a lot of eyes watching us. One, because sports are back on TV.
Yep.
And two, because there are going to be some out there that want to see us fail and can nitpick at every little thing if we don't follow the right guidelines. So we have had multiple calls, and NASCAR's done a tremendous job up to this point of laying the guidelines out for us and what they're being told from health advisors and people that are making the most important health calls, as making us social distance as much as possible. You know, we are not allowed to really be in contact with anybody. Once we are at the racetrack, we are ordered to self-quarantine ourselves, whether that's in our car that we drove down in, or our motorhomes that we're bringing down, until minutes before the race. So we will have no outside contact. The only communication I will have with my crew is via telephone, email, Zoom. I think that's the new thing nowadays. So it's definitely going to be different. You know, usually on race day you get to spend 30 minutes with your team just to kind of debrief and go through the ups and downs of what to expect. But here, I'm literally going from my house to my house on wheels to quarantine myself some more. So that's going to be definitely different.
Okay. Have you been tested for COVID-19?
I have not.
You have
so
not?
I've been checking my temperature and staying as minimal as contact as I can.
Right.
But I've been fine up until this point.
Okay. Will you get tested before you get in the car? Are you planning on it?
Yeah, they will have a whole screening process when we show up to the racetrack, and so they have all the guidelines in place and protocols in place to whether if a driver does have it, what they need to do next steps. So we have a whole lineup of things that we have to go through. So it'll be a process for sure.
Sure. Bubba Wallace here on the Rich Eisen Show. So I guess because then qualifying's out, right? I mean, and practice time's out. You're just gonna the next time you get in the car and you're in Darlington is when it's time to race, or is that going to change?
Yes. I keep telling everybody it's the perfect hold my beer and watch this moment. We're going to go out and just jump in, and green flag's going to drop. So, for us or for new sports fans that don't really pay attention to NASCAR, we have usually about a 3-day schedule. Where we get to practice and qualify and get to set up underneath the skids, come in and make adjustments, and then line up for the race, hopefully with the best possible setup. Well, for us, we're going off last year's race at Darlington, which was in September. So there's a lot of races in between that, and our cars have changed a tremendous amount with upgrades and new this, new that. And so we're all kind of worried about those first couple of laps. If we have our travels right, if we have the setup close enough to where we can be competitive. So without all that practice and seat time, it's definitely going to throw a curveball at things. But hey, that's why we're some of the best in the world of stock car racing. So we're going to give it our all.
Of course. And do you think that you and your colleagues might be more cautious because of all this setup, or what are you expecting Sunday to be, Bubba?
I've gotten that question a lot. I think we're all going to kind of be mindful. Yeah, we don't really know what our car is going to do diving off into turn one at one of the most craziest historic places, such as Darlington. So we'll all be cautious and know what we got, but there will be a time where that switch is flipped, and probably that's lap 2. I'm not sure, but we'll all hopefully take it a little easy and then get some racing underneath us.
So, Bubba Wallace here on the Rich Eisen Show. Just to repeat, you are not in physical proximity or contact with any of the rest of your team. You are by yourself, and you will not be allowed to be in a proximity of anybody with your team until it's time to race on Sunday. And then you're going to go through.
Yeah, even that. I think. I think we'll still go through what all is going to happen, but I won't see or talk to anybody physically. It'll be through phone or from a very safe distance. We will be separated. We are told if the race is at 3:30, we are told to be strapped in our cars at 3:20, and we leave our bus at 3:19. Like it's that critical and that strict on who's around, what time we have to walk and move. So it's they've gotten it down to a T, and I would hate to be them in this time and leading up to this time. I'm sure they've been up day and night. NASCAR, I'm speaking. They've been up day and night trying to figure out how we can get racing back in front of fans.
You know, and you know, there won't be any fans this time. How weird's that going to be, do you think?
Mm-hmm.
How weird's that going to be?
It's going to be different, but I told a couple people it's like a glorified test session. So when we were allowed to test, like we would have some preseason testing, and the last one I did was last year in January at Vegas, and there was 20 plus teams there. There was very little fans just because it was, middle of the week, but I think it's going to be like that. But now, something that it's going to be a test session for the first couple of laps, but then we know that when the checker flag falls, there's going to be a race winner, and they will get moved into the playoffs. So it's there's a lot more on the line than just a test session. But I think we also look at it as on our practice and qualifying days. There's not many fans that are in the stands, but It's definitely going to be a ghost town. It's going to be weird for sure, but that doesn't change. For sure, it doesn't change my competitiveness. We're still going to go out there and give it our all.
And how much contact have you had with your racing colleagues? Everybody else is going to be in the same position as you Sunday. How much contact have you had with them, the other drivers?
Yeah, we have group chats that we're all a part of, and we had just jumped off a call with the sanctioning body and all of us drivers that were in, trying to get our last couple of I's dotted and T's crossed before we head down there. But I think everybody's just excited to get back going. There was a lot of speculation when this first started happening of, not racing at all or whatever the circumstances could be. And I think this is the best scenario possible for everybody involved. And it's a really big deal for sports. I've also said this to multiple people. It's crazy to realize how many people in the world need sports. Until you take it all away, you never see that. So for me, with no sports being around, I was okay with it. Obviously, I'm racing and I'm busy, but I didn't pay attention really until September 1st when college football started back up. I'm a huge college football fan, so It feels like this is kind of the norm to me. But seeing that there is absolutely nothing and how people are going crazy over this, I think it's a huge moment for us to kind of lead sports teams and sanctioning bodies back into the arenas and racetracks and stadiums. With or without fans, we got to do it the safe and healthiest way possible. So we will be, I wouldn't call it the test dummy or the guinea pig, but I guess that's what it is, and we got to do our best job possible.
Well, it sounds, Bubba, best you have recounted here, this is not being done slipshod. It's being done in a way that is, buttoned up as best you can. I mean, and again, the phrase being best you can is the phrase. I know earlier you had mentioned also in the conversation that you think there's some people potentially rooting for the failure of NASCAR. Where are you picking that up from? I'm hoping you stick the landing here, and other sports say, okay, NASCAR, what are you doing so we can do this too? And you could drop, if you will, or let the green flag fly on many other sports if this works out, Bubba.
Oh, absolutely. I'm saying there is going to be those people that are out there like, oh, they are not 6 feet apart. They're 5.9 feet. You know, it's going to be those type of people. I think, like I said, we're all excited for sports to get back underway, but we have to, be careful and manage everything we do is under a microscope right now. And we know that there's going to be extra eyes on us to see how we handle each and every circumstance that comes at us. So from the EMTs being around, if the driver gets into a wreck or the winner, the interview process is totally different. No crew around. It's all different. And NASCAR is really, it's more of the health officials that are coming to the track and making sure that this all goes smoothly as well. So this isn't just like a game plan that we had scripted up. They have done numerous amounts of work and research and conversations, emails, you name it, with health officials and following the CDC guidelines and allowing us to get back, and state officials and so many people that are above my pay grade that I do not envy right now. That are making this all happen. So we have to do an exceptional job.
I'd like to ask you, I know it's a thorny subject, but have you spoken to Kyle Larson lately? What's your relationship with him like right now?
I have not. I have not spoken to him. So, I haven't spoken to him since the incident went down.
Okay. Look, man, Bubba, I'm rooting for you, and I'm rooting for your sport. I'm rooting for all your drivers. Let it be safe and let it be sound, and let's do this. I mean, let's race and see how it goes. And I'm appreciative of you, wanting to do it. And I guess that's my last question for you: is, what's your emotion right now?
Yeah, we're ready. We're counting down the days and the hours, really, and just kind of figuring out, when to be there. We still have some media obligations and sponsor obligations to fulfill on Sunday for race day, just like normal, through telephone and FaceTime and Zoom meetings and stuff like that. So it's just going to be a different take, and I think everybody's anxious and excited for that. But when it comes to the racing stuff, we've been doing this for a really long time, and this break has us itching and ready for racing more than ever. And to show a new fan base that we'll be watching is exciting for us. To show them a great product of racing is also important to us, and put on the best show possible. So I know there's going to be 40 of us competitive, hungry drivers out there all going for a win. Okay.
And I guess last one for you. You're from Mobile, and you said you're college football. Does that make you Auburn or Alabama, Bubba?
I am Tennessee, believe it or not.
Okay. All right.
My mom ran track there, so Tennessee's in my blood. My family's from Tennessee, and Knoxville and Nashville. So, but yeah, I'm Tennessee.
You're Vol. That's your SEC affiliation. Okay, very good. From Mobile, Alabama. I figured that would be an easy question to ask and get. I didn't expect that answer. Hey, Bubba, good luck to you. Be safe, be sound, be healthy, and race like the wind, sir.
I will. I appreciate the time.
Thank you for the call. That's Bubba Wallace. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.